Greetings to you all. Welcome to the School of Imageability podcast, episode number 1. I think, first of all, it won't be nice not to give a brief introduction to you, my friends, and to those who will be watching this exciting episode. The overall topic is investigating the impact of street vending on the imageability of a street. It can be any street in the African cities, but in this case we'll be looking at the street of Joburg Street, or any in the city of Johannesburg is also fine, but then let's be specific, okay? Well, as I have mentioned, on today's episode we will be talking about two exciting concepts, namely street vending and imageability, as I've taken this concept this key concept from my topic. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Richmond Manavera. I am registered honor student in urban and regional planning at University of Witwatersrand, Johannesburg. Without wasting any time, let's get into today's business and unpack our terms. First of all, let's start with street vending. Street vending, it can be classified into two types. While it can be formal refers to registered trading, and informal trading, which is, like from the name you can just tell, is informal trading, which means it's not registered activities or trading. So I've taken some of literature review on the street vending according to Fachuradin research in 2018. He said that these activities are carried out either on the street or path, and have a potential to revitalize the area and create a distinctive image of the path or street whereby they take place. He further discussed that street vending can significantly enhance the experience of street shoppers or pedestrians, resulting in more livable city. Like from the concept he mentioned about how it can revive street, like I think we can include that it is indeed remarkable that how street vendors contribute to the dynamic street life of large cities such as like city of Johannesburg, city of eThekwini, city of Tshwane. As mentioned, that street vendors are often taken for granted, but they play a crucial role in bustling urban environment, and they also contribute to the energy of the street. In fact, physical element of street such as street wall and the neighborhood element such as street vendors are both essential components of informal sector of urban economies, as stated in the Fachuradin research. Now let's look into imageability. The exciting part about imageability is we'll be looking at from the perspective of Kevin Lynch in his book The Image of the City. So as Kevin Lynch, he is the one who introduced the concept of imageability. So he refers to imageability as the ability of environment to create like a strong mental image in the observer's mind. This mental image is created through the interaction between the observer and the observed environment. He further discussed that there are 5 elements that makes up an urban environment, which is path, edge, nodes, district, and a landmark. I will be discussing, I won't give like a brief, but it will be a short explanation of these urban element. Well, first of all, path refers to any route that people use to move through urban environment or any environment in the world, such as street or sidewalks. Then coming to edges are boundaries between two different environments, such as the edge of a park or a building. Well, within these edges, there are soft edges and hard edges. The hard edges are those edges that you cannot cross by, that like are not easily accessible. While the soft edges are easily accessible, they are edges, but they don't restrict more of movement, but they are also a restriction of movement. I hope you get me there, but yeah, I'll clarify it. If you're not, comment below. Well, then let's go to where did I stop? Oh, just from we're discussing the edges. Now let's discuss nodes. Nodes are a point of convergence. It can be an intersection or a plaza or a place where there's a lot of activities. In our case, let's look at Park Station. Park Station has a lot of activities. People are moving around. There are shops. People are catching trains. There are taxis. Everything is like there's a lot of activities that are happening within one space, which create this node, this vibrant space. People can interact with different elements, shops, yeah, anything that is considered to be vibrant. Then coming to district are areas with a common identity, such as downtown or a residential neighborhood. Let's go in. Lastly, let's look at landmark. Landmark are unique and memorable features, such as a fountain or a statue. In our case, likely enough, the street I chose has two of these. This element, node, and the landmark. Our landmark is Gandhi Square, and our node is Park Station, Johannesburg. So, yeah, that was a good brief about the urban element stated by Kevin Lynch in his book of The Image of the City. So let's incorporate this physical element Kevin Lynch mentioned into a design of environment or planners. So planners and designers can create a strong and distinctive sense of place with these 5 elements he mentioned in his book of The Image of the City. This can contribute to the livability of a city by making it more memorable and easier to navigate. Street vending can also play a role in creating a distinctive image of a street or district, as well as contributing to the energy of vitality of urban environment. Well, let's look at street vending in an African cities and how scholars are researching on this issue. Well, in African cities, street vending is seen as a livable means of survival where people want to make money out of it, but then the place where they are operating or the place where they are doing their business, it is considered to be straight sidewalks, and it prohibits like a good accessibility and movement of people. So there's been a complaint about how street vending is impacting walkability, how it's impacting the surrounding, the businesses as they sell goods at a lower price. But then there's a missing point where researchers or scholars are not looking at. They're only looking at the survival or livelihood or economic side of street vending, and they forget or neglect the impact street vending has on the image of the street, which is not taken into account. However, there have been scholars who have been researching on this topic. Most of these scholars are researching in Asian countries, European countries, but what are we doing in African cities? How are they impacting? Is it the image of the street or the image of the city is not that important in African cities, or we are only looking at the livelihood or the economic side of street vending? Interesting. Well, we'll find out later on, because on this episode we will have an opportunity. Not on this episode, I'm sorry, but then on the following episode we will have a planner or a designer who will give his knowledge around street vending and the imageability, as he is knowledgeable about this two important concept in our episode. Well, yeah, for today, let's say da 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 da. Until we meet next time, I'm your boy Richmond Manavera. Hola, hola.